Hello again. This is Vessi Mink with the Music Train. We are on episode 4, season 3. Big up to Metaverse Generation, Mr. BK Han out of Singapore. Without you, I could never do this. I could also never do this without all the amazing guests that I've had on for these past 3 seasons. Thank you so much for coming through and being my guests, showing me what it means to unlock, connect, and create, which is our motto here at Music Train. Also, let me not forget the viewers. Without you, we have no show. Thank you so much for being interested in all the stories that intertwine our beautiful fabric of our societal togetherness. That was not scripted. Yes, I am off the cuff here channeling something. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest for this evening. He's a digital content creator. He's an amazing human being, and he's also a thrill seeker. You might know him as RICHWATER, and that's how I'm going to introduce him. RICHWATER, thank you so much for being on the Music Train.
I love a good intro, Vessi. I got to say, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. Of course, I don't even know what to say, where to start with. We were talking prior to the stream, and you're saying you're a little nervous, which made me nervous. So now we're both sitting. We're both in a similar boat here, just going, oh, a little bit of stage fright.
I know what to do.
Please.
We should talk about this week's sponsor.
Don't you love sponsors?
Don't you think? Because they became a sponsor unbeknownst to them, which actually every sponsor that we've had on the Music Train, our platform basically provides the opportunity to sponsors to be spotlighted because we love the brands that we know and have learned about on X, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
It's Twitter. We call it Twitter still.
Don't tell Elon. Which, by the way, somebody has been contacting me on the DMs saying that with an actual voice message of Elon, like with my name, like, yes.
Oh my God.
2 times. And I'm like, no, that must be AI. I go, well, what if it's not? He seems kind of out there enough that he might contact me, because I'm super famous.
You're more famous than most people know, which is a real irony. How are you getting deep faked? Like, I mean, deep fake's a visual thing, but I mean, it's a big part of audio. Like, yeah. I mean, the only way you could be getting contacted is directly off his Twitter. It's got to be a spam.
There's an account that I followed back that said Elon because I think like that. I always think people who are out the highest of the creme de la creme, how much they would like to be just a normal, get to contact anybody kind of person to have a normal human experience. And actually, I've written a synopsis for a script based off that. And it has a little touch of delusion in there, which I think any writer would have to attest to. You have to, an actor, you'd have to kind of go out and really kind of believe it for a little while to write the best story. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. Australia is famous for idolizing bad people and making them national heroes. And there's a character called Chopper Reed. There was a movie made about him called Chopper, and Eric Bana starred in that film. And people say it's one of his best roles that he played for it. He had to put on a lot of weight and pretty well become this crazy guy. But one of Chopper Reed's best lines was never let the truth get in the way of a good story. And
yeah, that's exactly it. And just again, a big up also to StreamYard. I never say it often enough how happy I am with this platform, that it allows us to meet in rooms like this and to share, videos like this. Ready for a surprise, my friend? Here's a little bit of a surprise. You might not know that I'm about to go to this. What is that? And is that you? And how did you do it? And where were you? And are you the bike god?
The bike god, Vessi. It's so funny seeing stuff like that appear. That's just a little POV view of me riding in Whistler Bike Park, and the it's I don't even know where to start on that. Like, if I talk it up, it's really cool because it's a line in the bike park that no one else has done that I've seen. It's literally going up the back side of this feature called Filthy Ape, and where I sorry,
did you say Filthy Ape?
Yeah, I know that's the name of the feature. So Filthy Ape is where you roll down at the end, but going up to it is like a walking track. You ride up to this rock, and then you get off your bike and you climb up onto the top of the rock, and then set up and ride down. Or then people come in and ride from another angle, but no one's ridden up the back and done that. And I when I recorded that, I put it online, and I was just like, has anyone else hit this feature this way? And no one has, which is really quite surprising, because in Whistler, once you film one line, generally heaps of people go and hit it straight away. But
people were like,
it's just an awkward one. It's just because you've got to go into it really fast. But I'm sure people will do it. I just haven't seen.
I'd love to ask you just a couple questions about how you became the bike rider that you are. And I'm jelly, because I want to be that bike rider, and one day I will be that bike rider. Like, I'm into that. Like, so can you please tell me, like, the moment your love affair with biking these torrential terrains, let's call them
torrential terrains. You know, I was, as a little one, I had to take my bicycle with me everywhere. Whenever we went on a road trip, we went for the afternoon to a park. If my bike didn't come in the car with me, I wasn't coming. Simple as that. Like, and
you put your foot down at an early age.
Oh, it was my thing. It was my thing of freedom. You know, it was it gave me the ability to go somewhere and do things, and also the feeling of movement when you're on a bike and you do jumps or skids and stuff like that, as especially when you're really little and you're developing. It's very empowering for children to learn a sport, and I stuck with it. It's, Vessi, when I was at a very young age, I remember being quite happy with the decision about who I'll be in the future, and I would be one of two people, and that didn't matter when, but I sort of had an idea of the timeline, and that would be either a bike person or a music person. So from a young age, I always had my bicycle, and I always had some form of instrument that I was studying or learning or hanging out with.
Do you have an instrument near you that, like, I don't know, a saxophone of some sort?
Like a bush saxophone.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this a cue? This is a cue, isn't it?
I don't know. Let me talk to the producers.
Yeah.
They say go for it.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my producer's also saying go for it.
Okay.
Well, ironically, I just happen to have this sitting right here.
I think we have a psychic connection. We must have a psychic connection, because we met through Life's a Joke NFT community on Twitter /X, whatever you want to call it. And I think that the chemistry of that community speaks and attests to everything that we're able to even convey here. So a big up to Life's a Joke NFT community on Twitter. And without further ado, our amazing guest for episode 4 of season 3, RICHWATER, is going to play just a few notes. I think I'd like to try and copy whatever it is that you play, if I may.
Just a few notes. Okay, for sure. I hardly ever play this instrument. I picked it up at a music festival many years ago as my ticket to be able to enter the festival. I had to, in order to get into the festival, I was getting in as a performer playing a gig. And my friend said, I can get you in if you can play something. I'm like, I didn't bring an instrument. He goes, well, let's go and buy something, and then you can play it in the gig, and then you put your ticket. So I did. So I went and bought this little bush saxophone, which is a really tricky little instrument. It uses a standard saxophone reed. And then you have this is called a ligature, which is what you use to attach your reed. So it's typical saxophone mouth, but then you have to have your fingers over these holes. So to be able to play it, like, and even the little squeaky band.
We're on a sonic time travel. The article's true.
We are on a sonic time travel.
BK knew it. BK knew it. He knew what was going to happen here.
You can feel it.
I love that story. I love that story.
It's cool. It's one of those little instruments that I've had this thing for over 20 years, and had I practiced it, I would probably be good at it. But it's a party trick. It comes out. It sits with all of my other instruments. I've got some guitars and a guitar and a fretless bass here. I'll show you my bass.
Ooh, cool. And I see that in the future, not so far away, being strapped onto your bicycle in a little case.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, the birds would like to hear it. I mean, I have no doubt.
The birds would love to. This isn't plugged in, but this is probably my favorite of instruments. It's an old Ibanez Music Man made in 1984, fretless, and
gorgeous.
This instrument, when I was traveling, I'd always try to take a bicycle and an instrument with me, and when I'm doing, I used to work a lot remotely, so I wanted to carry at least one guitar, and I've got a few good ones at home. I've got a '74 Fender Jazz.
Ooh.
I've got my old Washburn, which I started playing on. I've got 2 acoustics, and I'll just put this away. And then,
I thought you were going to play it.
It's not plugged. It's not plugged in. You'll just be like,
yeah.
You wouldn't hear anything. You just hear fuzzes and pucks. But when I thought of taking another instrument, I used to muck around with fretless basses, because there's for people who don't know what fretless is, if you have a look at the neck of this instrument, you can see it's smooth. So if I'm playing it, so you can, so it's a lot harder instrument to play, because you need the muscle memory to be able to put your fingers on the frets.
How long have you been playing that?
This instrument I've had about 4 years now. And
well, it's really beautiful, and I'll send you my address. You can just send that right over to me.
Over my dead body.
Well, there's my bass.
Oh my God.
Hello.
Hello.
And my guitar. Hello, Sheena and Trina.
Sheena and Trina.
No, I don't know if that's their names. But let's get into some Pepe water stuff, because I don't know if people know, when we talk about the new DeFi being the frontier, and that crypto is risky, and ETH is money, and Bitcoin is digital gold, and all these strange terms like metaverse and avatars and NFTs, digital assets, I don't think people realize that, it's pretty much a roadmap to the artists' past, what they've created. And as they mint it on the blockchain, some of these that I have to share today are actual digital assets of yours. Am I correct?
Yeah, they are. I believe I sent you some RICHWATER and some Pepier. So
which one should I play right now?
What? Well, you said Pepier, so why don't you? I think I sent you Pepier.
I have the water batch 10.
Yeah, it was batch 10 of the Origin collection in Pepier.
Okay, let's start there.
Yeah, we'll have a look at it.
Would you like to share anything more about that before I play it?
Play it, and then I'll explain it to you if you'd like.
Okay, I'm taking us off stage so we can get the full effect here.
Ooh.
Oh, thank you everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to stick around. We have a giveaway from our sponsor.
That is so random, isn't it?
Wait, what's going on with that? Tell me about that. That's very cool. That looks like, familiar.
It does. It's Oh my God, we are diving into a rabbit hole of Web3 culture by starting this one. I tell you, Vessi, it's crazy. So what you just saw was a Pepier can, which is a digital collectible, an NFT, and that was number 10 in a series of Pepier cans that I did. Now, if you have a look at what it's a homage to, Pepier is a homage to Web3 legends and IRL legends. IRL is in real life for people who I speak to a lot of normie friends and I say, oh, blah, 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 IRL. And they're just like, what are you even talking about? So IRL is in real life, which is what we all currently exist in. So if you have a look at the homage, Pepier is literally a ripoff of Perrier, that famous, wonderful carbonated drink that's everywhere in the world. And then we have Pepe, which is the frog, which is also another internet icon who's been embroiled in many scandals. It's been a symbol for love. It's been a symbol for hatred, and it's one of those, you'd almost call it a royalty free asset that a lot of people use within the ecosystem and create art collections for the Pepe frog symbol itself. It's massive. So I ended
And,
up combining the two. Yes,
and,
speak.
thank you. And you need to own the NFT to have the digital rights to use in further creations, correct?
Exactly. So that's
Yeah.
what NFTs are. It's there's
Token gating at its
absolute
finest.
NFTs are digital assets. There are its
Yep.
ownership, but an NFT itself is a tool. It's a tool for
Mm.
creation. It's a tool for ownership. It's a tool for communication. And
Yeah.
as it becomes more incorporated within finance and a lot of other sectors within our world, we'll become a lot more aware of it. But the mass adoption for hello, it's just me now. The mass adoption for NFTs will be more of a thing which people aren't aware of because it'll be incorporated within the infrastructure of what they're already doing. But NFTs reside on the blockchain, which is Web3, which is essentially a whole bunch of computers sitting around the world, allowing this wonderful system to exist, and it decentralizes a lot of our data and assets, which is kind of what we need. Get out of the Facebooks and get into more things
Right.
where people have the control over it.
Although Bitcoin maximalists, they will beg to differ and in increasing amounts as time goes on, as I'm finding out, which I kind of understand what they're talking about. I tried to read the Bitcoin white paper. I got through like two paragraphs, and I just want to know, Satoshi Nakamoto, like, what do you know about Bitcoin?
Vessi, what do I know about Bitcoin? It depends on what audience we're talking to.
Mm.
You know, what's the easiest way to explain Bitcoin, which is such a deep rabbit hole.
Okay, forget I
It's
asked. We're gonna go on.
no, I want to answer it. I want to tell
Okay.
you, it's the basis for decentralized finance. That's probably the best way to put it. You
Yes.
know, it's allowing people now through cryptocurrencies and through NFTs,
Mm-hmm.
people like yourself, people like me, we can create completely without restriction. All we have is that restricting us is obviously our personal abilities and the tools that we are using, our devices.
Mm-hmm.
And that connection, once something leaves our device and goes out there, it is our creation, is what we've done. So we can be artists, we can be musicians, we can be tech developers, we can work in finance, we can be community builders, we can be hype people, we can be followers of other people, we can be trendsetters, we can be influencers, we can be ones who are influenced. All of that works through blockchain technology, which is the Bitcoin was the basis of. And
Right.
it's a wonderful thing because it's giving people now we reside in this digital age, Vessi.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving people in this digital age the ability to legitimize their time spending on the computers and make an income, make art, have their stuff recognized, and the digital ownership becoming part of it. And
Mm.
your identity through these devices is becoming very much as legitimate, if not more so in a lot of ways, than we are as real people.
Yes, digital identity,
Dynamics,
Richwater. Yes,
digital
digital
identity.
identity. It's crazy because you could really be whatever you want to be. And I think for people who aren't so able to communicate as freely as they would like to, it offers a very beautiful, how would I say,
Platform.
yeah, mask as
Sam.
well, a mask, kind of just somewhere safe, a blanket, something like familiar that you could protect yourself with. You can create, connect. You can, I mean, one of the greatest apps, Music Train, I don't know if I told you this, but Music Train started on an app called Connect Club. Have you heard of that?
Oh, I have heard of Connect Club. It didn't have a very long life, though, did it?
It didn't. It was just about a year, and it was beautiful. It was like Twitter, except you could literally click your or Clubhouse for that matter. You could click your PFP and decide to be on video. So it's as if everybody in the room, except when you're thinking of Twitter, there's confines there, right? And with Clubhouse, there's confines there. But in Connect Club, you could just right tap your screen and literally be in any area of the room, and the room would be created. They call it skins, where it's like a metaverse. It's a sort of a flat 3D world that you could basically meet anybody. I've met some of the most amazing people through Connect Club. And one day we had a little talk show room BK created, and he said, let's just invite people to give a couple words, and you write a song on the spot, Vessi. And that's how Music Train was born.
Wow.
And those songs became NFTs, and I did write them on the spot. So today, don't let me forget, before you leave, you have to give me a few words so we can continue in season 3 to keep the music going with the Music Train.
Vessi, I really run out of words, you know that. But on the other hand of what you're saying with this buffer, with this platform, it does offer, through the Twitter platform especially, and Spaces, it does offer this wonderful sort of area that you can hide. I mean, I'm a perfect example. I'm Richwater here. IRL, my name is Petri. In Web3, I'm Richwater, and the identity I've developed and grown in this persona is very much based around a lot of the anonymity that we had within Web3. I mean, I was doxxed right from the start because I'm a project founder, but I didn't make it easy for people to, I just didn't put my face straight up on Twitter. Like, if people wanted to find me, they'd have to go into the website, go into a founder's link, and then they would have access to all of my other stuff.
And you would know that they took the time and they made an effort to actually find out who you are and kind of get to know you a little bit better. And I mean, you have a weekly show that you do called Deep Water, correct?
Oh yeah, Deep Water.
Your co-host, forgive me right now, I'm
the beautiful, the wonderful AC3.
That's right.
I simp over AC so much. She's a wonderful person with this sultry, sexy voice, which obviously a big reason why I wanted her in the show. And she comes from a really interesting background. I'm not going to divulge that here because it's a very personal one, but her upbringing was something I did not expect. And like many of us, she found an escape from her IRL life within Web3, and she's developing these networks. And in Web3, everyone wants her. Everyone needs her. She's created her own value. She makes her own rules. And I'm honored to have her as my guest host. I won't do the show without her. Like, when she needs to go to bed, because she's 3 hours ahead of us. Like, when it's 10:30 at night for us, I know, she's in there struggling to keep her eyes open.
I enjoy the show so much, and I believe you're on episode 5 this coming, or episode 6 this coming.
Episode 5 only. Yeah, will be EP5. So.
And what day and time again? Can people find it?
That is every Monday at 7:30 p.m. PST, which is 10:30 p.m. EST, which is 9:30 p.m. CST, and that's live on Twitter Spaces. So all you need to do is follow Richwater, and you will be able to find
there it is, scrolling just below.
It's scrolling down at the bottom.
What's a bombpop.link? Should we talk about our sponsor for this week, or is now?
I think now's a better time than ever. Why not? We're nearly halfway into our show already.
And it feels like time has stood still, as it usually does.
Vessi, we could talk for hours. Like, we haven't even started touching any deeper topics. But Bomb Pop's a wonderful thing, and just inadvertently, Bomb Pop didn't realize that they were sponsoring the show until you and I was having a little hoedown prior to it in the green room.
Yes.
And I build cool shit is the founder of BombPop. He's becoming quite a close friend within Web3, and what he's been developing on the back end is incredible. BombPop is Web3's version of LinkedIn. So where you have a page
Linktree.
sorry, Linktree. I'm so sorry.
No, it's
See,
okay.
That's why BombPop's better, because nothing sounds like it. So, and
hey, you just came up with their brand slogan. That's why BombPop's better, because nothing's
that's why
like
BombPop's better. Yeah, no
Yeah.
one sounds like me. So it's a wonderful web page and app also, and you sign up to it through your crypto wallet on Solana or Ethereum at the moment. I think it's going to be supported on BTC also.
Cool.
And you chuck your info in, and it acts exactly like that. It has all the links to all of your social media profiles, any websites you have, and also you can display what digital assets you have within your wallet as part of it. And every page is unique. So it's a great tool for Web3 and for this mass adoption, because sort of the way I see it, everyone in Web3 who has a Twitter account or anything to do with it at all should have a BombPop link. It's free.
I started with a Linktree, and I still have a Linktree because I've been building my Linktree, but I build, and the crew always gives me lots of teasing online. I said I'll just put my Linktree in my BombPop link because I love BombPop link. And so I'll just put my Linktree there. And iBuild was like, what do we have to do for you to realize that it should only be bombpop.link? And I was like, thinking. But let's run that ad that you did. How about that? Richwater here. So glad you're here again. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm stoked.
So lovely to have you. And to the viewers, reach out, say hello to this amazing human being. Say hello to bombpop.link. Create yours. We have a giveaway today for actually the first person to create a bombpop.link. Literally go to bombpop.link, bombpop.link. Yeah. And when you set up your bombpop.link and you connect your MetaMask wallet or whatever it is that you connect, you will be the winner of this prize that I'm not going to tell you about until after this trailer. In fact, Richwater, I'm hoping that you're going to be the one.
I hope so. Oh, it's me again. Time for the trailer. From a world where legends are born and culture is farmed for engagement, where physical is always promised as digital, but rarely delivers. A place where blue chip projects release a hoodie, the likes which you've seen literally everywhere. They waste weeks on the perfect shade of orange, spending days arguing with the Dow on what is the golden ratio of polyester to cotton, and with absolutely no innovation whatsoever. And out of that darkness comes the story of a project, one bridging the physical and digital worlds, like others have promised in the past. Only this time, they are physicals. Digital. Fuck it. They don't make hoodies or even have an imaginary bear collection, so they use this shitty Deagles hoodie as the backdrop for this video. They are bombpop.link. They have built a glorious platform for connecting all things physical to those that are digital. They started with printing digital network cards for DJs before they moved on to more fluffy things like hoodies and plushies. These idiots wasted countless hours tapping chips and making the perfect vessels for it, so they could be embedded into literally everything. Actually, it's quite brilliant. So, the next time you order a hoodie, hat or a plushie, with points you've earned from staking your shitty bear picture, does it contain a BombPop? And if it doesn't, why the fuck not? Tell your founder, when BombPop? Tell them every day until they give you your fucking BombPop. You deserve it. So, reserve your BombPop in your favorite web browser at bombpop.link today. BombPop it. No, don't. No, it's like, fuck it. No, we can't use that. in that.
Hey, unpop.link. I mean, it can be embedded in anything. That's the ticket right there.
Yeah.
What's our giveaway, Richwater? What's our giveaway? Hold on. Let me do this real quick here. And
Today's giveaway, sponsored by bombpop.link, will be one free NPC card with your NFT of choice on it. So he makes these beautiful cards, and it is a physical card that represents your digital assets. It's a nice memento to have, and it's one of the few things that's been incorporated from Web3 to a Web2 asset now. You get so used to hearing Web3 and Web2.
So it's a card. It's a card that you get. So the first person to create a bombpop.link while this stream is going, as you see it here right now, live, everybody with you for the Music Train, Season 3, Episode 4. Go and get yourself a bombpop.link right now, because if it's you, if it happens to be you, you're going to get that NFC chip card. And definitely let Richwater and I know. You can find Richwater on Twitter/X. You can also find me at Vessi Mink on X. I like to call it X. I'm over the Twitter.
Stop this. It's so hard. I remember years and years ago, I was living with this person. His name was Paul, and I knew him as Paul. He was a very, very vain person. One day he comes home to our apartment, and he's like, "You can't call me Paul anymore." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I've changed my name." I'm like, "Okay, what have you changed your name to?" He says, "You will now call me Vent." And I'm like, "Vent? Like you mean like an orifice that air comes out of or goes into?" And he's like, "No." And he got really upset. I'm like, "Bro, I can't start calling you Vent, especially that you've named it after something that could anyway."
I don't know, when you said vent, I thought, like, I'm gonna vent now. I'm gonna get it all off my shoulders.
Exactly.
Get it off my chest. Is that what he meant?
Well,
is that what vent meant?
Well, I think he just wanted to make himself more attractive and elusive to people. But
big up vent. Big up vent.
It didn't work. I ended up ridiculing him for it because it was stupid.
I hope you're still friends. I hope you're still friends and that you have that kind of relationship with people that you could tell them the truth and they're not going to leave.
Well, we aren't really friends, but it wasn't for that reason. But that could have definitely contributed to it.
Well, let's carry on with the aviation and extreme environment shooting.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Tell me about that. What is that about?
The aviation, that's a cool part of life. Hey, oh goodness, I've got to try to keep this story down because it's such a long and involved one. I got in. I was never a flyer, a person who needed to fly or be in aircraft. But the risk factor of it really interested me. And some time ago, I remember having dinner at a new friend's house. He owned a small private helicopter company, and I was there, and there was this guy who was gearing up to work in a helicopter, and he was an aerial photographer. Cool. I didn't really know much about this job at the time, but he sat in the side of they had this really cool helicopter, an Italian one called a Notar, a 500, which is this really crazy, cool looking helicopter. It didn't even have a tail rotor. It has this big sort of thick boom, and air shoots out the back of it rather than a spinning rotor. So it was like this really weird looking machine. And he was strapped in, hanging out the side. There was no door. He had a harness on. He had this big camera hanging off a gimbal, and he was just sitting there in the side of the machine and putting his helmet on, his gear, and I could see him communicating with the pilot. And then finally, they did the go ahead. He put his visor down, and the helicopter took off and flew away with him hanging out the side of it. I was just like, "Oh my God, that looks so cool!" Imagine just being able to sit out the side. Like, imagine the views you have.
Right.
So I wanted that job. It took me 2 years, and opening came up in the company, and I trained up and received that job.
That's awesome.
It was super cool. And that job came about because what they were doing, they were photographing power lines, which was a new protocol that the government had instilled because uh, a few years prior to that, we had a terrible fire in Australia called Black Saturday, and one particular element of this firestorm killed 174 people. Just literally rained fire down onto a small community, and
Oh,
anyone who died, or most of the people died in it. And
so sorry.
yeah, it was pretty gnarly. I lost a close friend in it, and I had other tragedies go through that also.
Mm.
And I that job, the government said, right, every year we need to photograph all of the power line infrastructure because the blame for that particular fire was put down to a faulty power line.
Mm.
And then it was also a perfect storm. Like we had the right wind conditions and the temperature and
Yeah.
everything lined up to cause this incredible rare event, which happened to land on people.
Mm.
So that job was a direct result of the Black Saturday fires, which I had a very close attachment to from losing my friend Danny in it,
Yeah.
and some other things that went down. So that was number one. Then in doing that job, I did it for some years, nearly a decade, 8 years in service for that job, and I was either ground crew or air crew working it. And then I was poached by another company who specialized in specialist aerial intelligence gathering systems. So
What?
they had a very it's super flash job. This one they
Yeah.
had a very complicated camera system, about $3 million worth of gear in the helicopter.
Wow.
And what the sort of the base of it was this big camera that hung off the front of the helicopter called a Westcam MX10. It's a military targeting camera, and then that was hooked up to a bunch of hardware and software within the helicopter. And
Amazing.
you could do real live tracking of data and events and a video stream and sort of a whole series of things that we were capable of doing. So I got poached to join this company, and which was super unique position, very rare. And I ended up progressing through the company because it was quite small and helping develop the system a bit and writing the training manual for future operators for this also. And it was a coveted position. I even received medals from the government for services in saving parts of the country in fires.
That's incredible.
Bravery and all that kind of crap. Yeah, it was super cool.
Bravery and all that kind of crap.
And bravery and all that crap. I don't know how brave it was. I mean, I was in the machine. I wasn't flying the helicopter. I was a passenger. And they always say when I was doing safety briefings, because sometimes we would have other operators in our machines, and if I was doing a safety briefing for them, just to sort of set home a little bit how important it was. Once we've gone through all of the standard procedures and awareness, I'll let them know that when we're flying, it's all right. It's one of those things in life that, like, when it's your day, it's everyone's day. Or when it's your day, it's your day. But when it's the pilot's day, it's everyone's day.
Right.
And then you give a little brief pause after that, and people realize that it's actually quite serious in the helicopter, and don't disturb the pilot and don't cause a ruckus in the machine. Just keep your hands by your side and be aware of what we'd spoken about. Because the idea is that you do want to come home at the end of the day, regardless of what job you're doing,
right?
In any field, and that was extremely important in helicopters, because when things go wrong in a helicopter, they tend to go wrong quite critically and quite badly. So it was cool. It was a super cool career, that one, Bessie.
And thank you for sharing that story, Richwater. I wanted to find out also with the dawning of the drone and visual cameras in aviation, and how much of that work is still done by actual people.
A lot of so the work that I do, that won't really be able to be done by drones because of the nature of the work. In the short term, in the long term, that's a different story. But in the short term, say in the next 10 years, it's manned and unmanned aircraft lie in two very separate brackets. And in order even for unmanned aircraft to be operating in the airspace similar to manned aircraft, they generally don't allow it for a lot of different safety rules. And when we're working on fires, the majority of the time, if we're provided as air support for the fire, we'll be involved with other aircraft who are doing bucketing. You'll have other helicopters flying around lifting water out of ponds. you'll
I have
have
a friend.
oh, who flies that? Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
So
my friend Neil, that was his job for a good chunk of years.
there you go. They're great pilots. It's hard work to fly a bucket of water around, that's for sure. And then there's heaps of other aircraft. I mean, you get up to the biggest ones, which are the jets, the big jumbos, called LATs, or large air tankers, and they're the guys that'll dump 40,000 liters of fertilizer onto a fire and
Wow.
paint this big stripe up the forest and try to either extinguish it or prevent it traveling further. So you can't run UAVs with manned aircraft, and that won't happen for a long time still.
I was thinking more on the intelligence tip of just what's
Oh,
able to be like even insects, how dragonflies and such things, little they look so real, and they are real, but a lot of people think, like, have you been hearing this thing like birds aren't real? People have been, why do people say things like that in spaces? I mean, or that I mean, the technology is getting really finite and tiny. I mean, that's not a lie. It's possible, I suppose. For
if you're looking at drone technology for data acquisition, it's way beyond what we would require in emergency services with aircraft. Like
right.
we use a dumbed down version of what the military has,
Mm,
and just there's so many different ways to be able to acquire data and then perceive it. I mean, let's go to an extreme and look at the James Webb Telescope. $20 billion piece of
mhm.
equipment that took 25 years to make. And once they had the original inception of the design, they knew it's going to take a quarter of a century to build this, because we didn't have the technology to do what they perceived the telescope would. So as they were building it, they were developing the technology to catch up to the ideas of what it's
So
actually. The
cool.
James Webb Telescope is the second telescope that sits in that orbit. There was one that was sent out, God, I'm
Really?
guessing it was the late 60s. Yeah, they sent a telescope out there, which was already doing stuff. It just never really got much recognition. But so putting the James Webb into orbit, which is 2.5 million kilometers or miles from Earth, it's right out. It's actually following this orbit as another man-made object we've already put there. So
Mm.
that part of the achievement's not that great, but the complexity of putting that telescope out there and then having all the functions and having the mirrors unfold and everything line up was a real achievement. So our data acquisition abilities with unmanned aircraft, very small or large, are incredible,
Mm.
and the military will always be way, way, way above anything that any kind of service has, including fires and stuff like that. Because
And can we even call it AI?
AI, well, okay, so AI helps us make the
Yeah.
calculations to be able to do this kind of stuff. That's one of the beauties. I love the AI conversation. We all do, and well, not we all, but anyone sort of involved in tech and that sort of gets off on talking about AI, of
Mhm.
how exciting it is. But AI has played a big role in helping us calculate a lot of stuff that they've had to write the code for. If you look at the code that was written to get the lunar module to land on the moon, it's there's this great photo. I can't remember of the lady who wrote the code. She hand wrote it in 1963, I think,
Oh gosh, I
and
can't remember
it's
either, but
it,
not many people know that story nor her name. We should look that up right now.
yeah, if you could, it's and there's a wonderful photo of her with a stack of books, her height plus half her height again, and that's all the handwritten code.
Oh
And
my.
the processing power for the computer to do that was something like, it didn't only have like 16 meg of RAM or something. It was pretty much same as a
Margaret
scientific. Margot
Margaret Hamilton's
Margaret
Apollo
Hamilton.
code. One of the many
There we go.
contributors to this effort was Margaret Hamilton, a computer scientist who led the software engineering division of the MIT Instrumentation Laboratory, which in 1961, just like you
61.
said,
Sorry, I said
contracted.
63.
Oh, did you? I heard
Yeah,
61.
sorry.
Which
Oh,
in
cool.
1961 contracted with NASA to develop the Apollo program's guidance system. Yes, and here she is.
Yeah.
Badass.
It's funny. Computers were people originally. There we are. That's the photo. Exactly that. She hand wrote all of that code. The very first computers were valves. So light and vacuum. Look at that's a cool image. And
She's so cute.
And
She looks like a little kid.
yeah, and
You know, like
the first computers were sitting there, people actually typing, and females were the people employed for these jobs
that's right.
because the men were sent out to fight and blah blah blah, and the women were given tasks like working in hospitals and
Yes,
things where they
the
and
caretakers, the
yeah,
hunters, the cleaners, the
and
gatherers,
they
the
worked out
mothers.
that they worked out that women were actually rather intelligent, equally if not more so than
We are?
us men. I know, right? Yeah, because they started typing in and computing everything that we needed. So all of a sudden,
I
women. I love that part of the story because it shows it's one of the first steps that gives women an ability to be able to do something and not be restricted by this male dominated culture. And it's like we needed them to do this, and the women are actually fantastic at the job because they had the brains to do it better
to
than men, I think.
document or not to document. I say document. I love to document. That's like my favorite. And I don't know if it's a memory thing. Like, am I going to forget that this happened, and is that okay? And that could be like a whole like rabbit hole of a
Yeah.
conversation just about why we document things. Why do we have to like say that it existed? Who's going to care in however many years? Is it really going to matter that we were here? I guess we're covering all the things of this article written by Mr. BK Han of Metaverse Generation with regards to this amazing episode with RICHWATER. We have 15 minutes left. I have to write a song before we're done, and I wanted you to play the keyboard. Plus, we have like a few more of your promos for papier cans and such that I'd like to play.
Let's talk about digital art for a bit.
Yes, let's do that.
Let's do that because digital art is also something that's going to be greatly affected by AI in the future too. So Vessi was earlier on. She played one of my NFTs, which was the Batch 10 Peppier can, and if you remember, I mentioned that we used Pepe the Frog as the character for that, who's an internet icon. I've sent Vessi one of my Richwater bottles, which was the bottle, which was literally the inception, called Pepe Water, and it's an animated Richwater bottle, which is what I had started my whole project in making, which is 500 of these bottles. I've made 431, and you're about to see it in 3, 2, 1. Oh, outside. Feels good, man. Feels good, man. That's one of Pepe's lines. So what you had seen there was an animated Richwater bottle, which is an NFT, which someone has the digital rights to that. You can right click and save that, but you own the digital rights. And in talking about the digital rights of that and the importance of it, are we playing something else? No. I liken that to the Mona Lisa. Like when people say, "Oh, well, you've paid for this picture, but I mean, I could just right click save it or screenshot it." You most definitely could, but the value,
Question. I'm
yes,
so sorry to interrupt. We had a little bit of a technology glitch here. What happened? Because I clicked the Pepe Water promo.
it
Did it
played.
play? It did
Yeah,
the
it
whole
played.
thing.
Yeah.
Because all I saw was a screenshot of you and not the can. So good to know. I apologize for interrupting. Please continue.
That's all right. I was just explaining the digital ownership for NFTs and how people say they can right click save or copy and steal the art and all of that kind of stuff, which they most definitely can. But
But
if you want to speak, speak, speak.
I hate interrupting you. It's the worst. I'm so sorry. I was just going to say it's not supporting the artist, which
It's
I don't think
it's
people get that part of it. That's
that
the
part
most
doesn't
important part.
it doesn't support the artist, but it increases the value of the original, which is that the Mona Lisa case, which is the best example. Like everyone has seen the Mona Lisa. It's all over the internet. Heaps of people have copies of prints of it in their houses, but the original is virtually priceless. And the person who owns that original,
The value of the
if that
original. I'm
if they ever sell it, well, that's where they make bank, and that's the same with the digital NFTs.
uh
Bessie, you have frozen in your screen. I've got a screenshot of Vessi going. I see. I want to try to impersonate it. There we are. Oh, you're back. Oh no, you screenshot it again.
Don't do it. I don't know what's going on here. You wait, Rich. I think what's happening is that the optimization factor.
Yeah, we've just lost Vessi. I'd like you to welcome. Oh, now I'm stuck by myself here as she's just vanished. But I'll keep talking anyway. So the digital ownership for NFTs is extremely important part of it, and that's going to be a discussion for people who come into NFTs early on, and they always want to know the value of it because so many people say that NFTs are scam, NFTs are this, NFTs and that. They are the most risky asset that you can trade in because the value of NFT is based upon its performance, and it also sits on the blockchain and resides in one of the cryptocurrencies or the tokens like Solana, Ethereum, Matic, Tezos, or Bitcoin. So it's an incredibly difficult asset to get your head around, but it's a fantastic one. And the beautiful thing about NFTs is their inception has really affected digital art and the production of art and what you can do with it. And I've, on the other side of it, with the discussion of AI, I saw this meme on Instagram the other day, and it says, you know, humans are doing the grunt jobs, cleaning toilets, scrubbing sinks, and digging holes, while our robots are painting pictures and creating music. I did not expect it to go that way, and that's what's happening with AI at the moment. We've got ChatGPT writing a lot of our articles for us. We've got Midjourney painting a lot of our pictures and drawing and being able to create an interpretation of what inspiration we give it through commands and prompts within the language model. So AI, weirdly enough, has taken over the creativity of the human race rather than doing all the mundane jobs like having a robot cruising around your house, serving you and vacuuming your carpets and everything like that. Oh, you're back.
I don't know what is going on here.
I've just been doing a monologue on NFTs and AI. We've probably lost all of our viewers because they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe Richard is just
I
talking
can't
about
even
this."
see you right now. I'm looking at the screen and it's completely black. Hold on one second.
On my side, we're good.
Okay, well, let me remove you and bring you back. All right. Here we go, guys. We're doing this. And you're still gone. I don't know why, but that's okay. I can hear your voice, and if you say you're there, well, then I believe you.
Yeah. On the stream version, I'm here, so I think I'm watching what is being streamed, so we're good.
Let's play a few more of yours before we end the show because we have to write this song. I want people to see these. Which one did play? Did the 429 play, the Liberty Square?
No, we haven't played 429 yet. Liberty Square is a great one. This is a collab with another project. It's another animated Richwater, and this is another NFT.
Awesome.
Quite a unique one.
I'm going to keep us on the screen this time instead of switching. Although aesthetically, I really like the way it looks. So I actually am going to try that one more time.
Okay.
Because thanks for the good luck. Thank you to all the viewers for tuning in. Thank you to Metaverse.
Decades since the Plague Wars destroyed all hope. But Liberty Square must be reclaimed.
Okay, that was intense.
That was intense. It must be so confusing for people to see these and think that's digital art. Like you can buy that. Yes, that is purchasable.
Can you let's move to the next one here. This one is Angel. Let's
Oh,
try
angel
this
water.
one. And thank you,
Um,
everybody, again. I love you. Hold on here.
When you're told you have an angel protecting you through and through, that angel may not have come from the heavens, as it could be the person next to you. So, deep down, we all know, fam, be good to each other, as their role may help you get through. Peace. When you see your first spirit, is it excitement you feel or fear? Maybe both. The dimensions therein and the frequency we see. We're all here together, fam, and that's how it should be. Peace. When you see your first spirit, is it excitement you feel or fear? Maybe both. The dimensions therein and the frequency we see. We're all here together, fam, and that's how it should be. Peace.
peace.
Peace, Richwater. Those
Peace.
were freaky.
They're crazy, aren't they?
I loved them, and the one with the blood was a little. I don't know what that's. I don't know. That's like for some vampire film or something.
Yeah, that's for our Liberty Square, which is an amazing project that resides on the Solana blockchain within our ecosystem, and it's one of our collaborations. We do a lot of collaborations in Web3, and that was a big basis of what I started my project as. I don't collaborate as much now because I've learned it's very difficult to collaborate with people, especially basing your own project on collaborations.
Please don't hesitate to collaborate with me. This is the invite right now. If you say no, I'll only take it as a yes. Either way.
We do collaborate, Vessi. I've asked Vessi on Deepwater, the show every Monday night that I host with the beautiful AC. I've asked for Vessi to come in. If you haven't experienced Vessi in Twitter Spaces, her musical exposés are fantastic, and she often writes songs on the spot, and will also give us some of her more thought out pieces. So I've asked Vessi every episode to come in and play out the show and give us that moment of love. So we're going to do that today too.
I might just go like this at the end of the show, though.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I am going to come there with bells and whistles. I love how you describe the music that I do. I love how you describe what people do. I always love to hear you speak. I've loved to hear you speak from the moment we met. And I think everyone else does too. You have a way with words, Richwater. You have a way with life. You have a way with digital content. You have a way with saving, people and, helping them save themselves. And I think that we are so excited. I think everyone can attest that it's true on the music train to have had you today. And I don't even want to say goodbye. And so I do have to write a song before we leave on the spot. And I'm going to need 3 words from you. But before we do that, we have to talk about what the bombpop.link, how are they going to know that they were the first? And is there a code that they might get from us? Is that how it works?
That is the first person who contacts either yourself or myself during this stream.
Okay.
Who has probably get them to send it to you would be better because you'll be more responsive. You've got the windows open
All right.
to let you know and send you the link. So just copy your Bomb Pop link, DM Vessi through whatever social media platform that you've contacted her on, and we will then arrange that to send you out a contact for them, and you will get a special code that you can use on the website to then create your phygital item. We haven't used that term yet in this space today. Phygital, which is
what's a phygital?
It's a digital asset which has become a physical item. So it's
phygital. And the cool part too is that even if they're not the first to create a bombpop.link, it's as easy as doing that on your computer, guys. Do it on your computer. Even if you didn't get that first place spot to win that NFC chip card, you'll still have a bombpop.link, which is really rad. That's like super. That's like a gift because it's free as well. And you're owning your digital identity. You're owning it because it's connected to your wallet, which is connected to all of the digital assets that you have now or may have in the future. And the blockchain is transparent. It shows you when you bought something and when you traded it, sent it, transferred it, whatever, created it. And so without further ado, I need 3 words from you, Richwater. And I need to know that you're going to come back to the Music Train one of these days and bring a guest that you want to spotlight, because I would love for you to take over and be my co-host.
I knew I was getting roped into this. Bessie, no, I'd love to. We've only just scratched the surface, and I was wondering how we were going to talk today for this hour, whether we were going to go deep and breach one of those topics that I love doing, or we were just going to scratch across the top of many things, which is what we've done today. We've gone a little bit deep, but it feels like this is more of an introductory conversation than diving into each other, because I want to know more about you too, Vessi, and I'd love to come back and make this a bit more of a regular thing with you for sure.
Let's do it once a month.
Deal.
All right. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes. And you're a beautiful human being. Blessings
you too, Vessi.
Always, my friend. And anything that I could ever do to just write a song for someone you love, anything, that I'm good for it. Speaking of which, we are at the close of the hour. It's 2 minutes after that. That's okay, because this is my show and I can do what I want. But no, it's not only my show. It's the Music Train. It's your show. Don't forget to share this space. Don't forget to visit us next week with our amazing guests, John Norris and Lucas. You are going to love that show. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Again, big up to Mr. BK Han of Metaverse Generation, my partner, co-founder, artist director, and producer. I love you so much. And Coffee D'Ambrosi and Ruler in Peace, you also have my heart. What is our song going to be about? I need 3 words, Richwater.
We're going rhymes, and I'm making this one easy for you. So we've got mink, link, and pink.
Are you joking? I'm going to get you back really bad. Pink.
You got to sing about you.
Hold on. Link, mink,
link, and pink.
Oh my god!
Because you've got a pink guitar, your Vessi mink, and we've been talking about
I have a peppier can. We need to share that next time, because I won one fair and square when there was an auction. So you can basically create one of a kind custom cans for people with their PFP, their picture, anything on it. And you're amazing at it. And I think that
thank you.
I just think that the future is bright. Okay.
The future is bright. Minkling. Okay, I'm going to mute my mic. So
you're doing this to me. I'm so upset with you right now.
I know, right? Well, you're so good at this. I'm not going to give you something easy.
Pink, mink, and link. God help me. What are we going to do here? Okay, we're recording. Is my mic on? Oh, look, it's not on. That would have been goodness. A good. So all of the recordings, season 2 of the Music Train has ended up being on, streamed as well. Only season 1 was not streamed.
Oh.
So that's interesting, because you'll never get to see the videos, but those NFTs exist, which is really great. Let me see. Is this showing up here or is it not? One moment, everybody. Sorry for the confusion.
That's
Usually
okay.
We're all good here. I don't know. Check. Okay, we actually are good. Let's go.
You do so well to manage all of this. I've got to say, Bessie.
That's very nice of you to say. Why'd you give me pink when I wanted mink? Why'd you give me pink? You could have just given me the link. But I can't even think, and I'm sitting here with Richwater, and I think that the water has taken me to the brink. Why'd you give me pink, Richwater? I wanted the link so that I could get my bompop.link and create my digital identity connected to my wallet, sir. Bompop.link. My name is Vessie Mink. I'm really pink about you, yeah. So pink about you. I'm so pink about you. Why'd you give me pink when I just wanted the bompop.link? My name is Vessie Mink. Richwater, what do you think? Why'd you give me pink? I just wanted the bompop.link. Yeah, my name is Vessie Mink. Yeah. How'd I do? We did it.
You did exactly as I'd expected, which was brilliantly, of course.
All right. Thank you so much, Richwater. You guys stick around. We'll be back next week. I love this man. He's a legend. Don't forget that you're a legend too, and that you could be on the music train too. Don't forget, unlock, connect, create, get in touch with the people that you love and appreciate and inspire you. So that would be us, of course. And for us, that would be you. Don't forget that you're important, and don't forget the value of a phone call. And remember that you came from somewhere. Give love to the people that you came from. Don't forget that part. Lots of love. See you next week for season 3, episode 5. Bye.
Thank you, Bessie. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much.
I loved it today. That was awesome.
You're awesome.
You're awesome. Let's